I'm 21, but yeah, when I was 18, I was technically like a child of the state's care, and when you turn 18, you know, you're not a child, you're an adult, so they expect you to take care of your own. But I was in a pretty, you know, not solid living situation, and it was a pretty bad circumstance, and I just kind of ended up out here and didn't really have anywhere else to go.
And how long have you been out here?
Coming up on 4 years.
So we are here today in Garden Grove with Kendra. Kendra, are you originally from this area?
I'm from Orange County, but Placentia originally. But I've been here for a little while.
Over here on
yeah, Beach and Garden Grove-ish.
Garden Grove, yeah. So just wondering how old you are, because I saw you had a sign that said that you had just recently aged out of foster care.
I'm 21, but yeah, when I was 18, I was technically like a child of the state's care, and when you turn 18, you know, you're not a child, you're an adult, so they expect you to take care of your own. But I was in a pretty, you know, not solid living situation, and it was a pretty bad circumstance, and I just kind of ended up out here and didn't really have anywhere else to go.
And how long have you been out here?
Coming up on 4 years.
Are drugs currently a part of your life?
Yeah, sadly.
What drugs do you use?
I just honestly like whatever people have. I have been saying for like probably 6 months straight now, like how bad I want to get off of all of it, but it's so hard, you know, when you're just surrounded by it all.
Yeah.
It's hard to get away from it.
If you had a choice of drug, what was the drug that you'd want to do?
Probably white, or methamphetamine, or weed. Weed for sure.
And how do you support your habit? How do you earn money?
That was so hard for me to figure out when I first got out here, because like a lot of people, they'll go, or they like go in a store, you know, and they'll like fill up a bag and run out, but I tried that. I tried one time, I tried stealing chapstick from 7-Eleven, and I freaking got arrested, and they took me to jail for it, dude. There's people out here that are like beating old ladies up and shit, and like they took me to jail for stealing chapstick.
Wow.
And so I can't steal from stores. I just paranoid myself out, and then they can tell by the. But I've always just kind of panhandled, honestly, flown a cardboard sign, and it doesn't make a lot, you know, as much as some people that go steal, but
yeah.
it gets enough to get me by most of the time, and that's all I'm not greedy.
Do you ever earn enough or get enough to get a hotel room for the night?
I occasionally do. I try really hard. I always want to get a hotel room, always. Like, that's constantly a priority, and it's just hard, you know, especially like especially during COVID, and then after COVID, like prices went so much higher. Like cheap nights are like $130, and that's like without a deposit sometimes. And
what was it before the pandemic?
I was getting a hotel room for $75 a night without a deposit, and I knew the owner. You know, we were on good terms, and I always paid, and I never fucked up the room, so. You know, but that was like a more personal thing, you know, but even then that wasn't that overpriced,
yeah.
Underpriced.
Have you ever had like a typical job, 9 to 5, or just?
No, I had like a hostess job at like a sushi restaurant, but I was trying to maintain it while I was homeless, and I think I maybe made 2 shifts, and transportation was a huge issue. So I was also in Utah at the time, so I didn't really like have the resources or really knew the area well enough to be able to get there. But other than that, never really worked a job because I was in treatment centers as a child because of being awarded the state. But
Did you say treatment centers?
yeah, I was at 14, I believe. I was sent out of state to Tennessee for a 9-month sort of like wilderness kind of program. No electricity, you know, backpacking, carrying a backpack, probably way more than I did. And it was a lot. And then got back to California, and then probably 4 months later went back out to Utah, a treatment center in Utah, and that place was horrible, dude. I can't believe that those places are even like being run, because they are so, it's child abuse. It's straight up child abuse. And people don't know because your parents just sign a waiver that says, you know, we give this place permission by whatever means necessary to reform my child's behavior. Or the state sends, like, you know, the state can sign that if you're a foster kid. And yeah, that whatever means necessary is a very broad umbrella, you know. So, and they don't.
So 9 months is a long time for that.
That one was 19 months.
My goodness.
Yeah. It was a very long time.
You know, I'm sure it's very dangerous out here.
Yeah.
Anything crazy happen, or you see anything crazy happen to somebody else?
I've had some pretty gnarly experiences. Not right here. I kind of like, I travel just, you know, I don't stay in one spot. Like if, you know, an opportunity arises to go to LA, I'm like, and I think it's good and I have what I need, and you know, I'll go. And so a lot of the times people in the area, I'll show back up and they'll be like, where'd you go? Well, you disappeared. And I was like, yeah, I do that. Because I'll just up and go somewhere and stay there for a little while and do it again. But I was in Moreno Valley in Riverside, and I actually, I was a victim of a kidnapping and was held against my will for 7 days because I trusted someone that I just met, and that was probably the worst experience of my life.
Wow, that sounds pretty bad to me.
Yeah, so I definitely take like extreme precaution ever since, you know, because like I don't get in cars, I don't like really engage too much with people if like, you know, I can usually tell if they're like being a creepo or like whatever, but I'm always have that in my head, like be careful.
Do the cops give you a hard time out here?
Personally, no. I try to like really be careful about that though too. I don't have like a lengthy legal record. I've just got like that chapstick arrest and like a littering ticket, but I know they harass as many homeless people out there as they can, and it's honestly like sad, like that they go out of their way to like for usually absolutely like trivial manners when there are people out there like that are getting kidnapped and trafficked, and like the cops didn't help me. They looked at me and told me that I was on drugs, and that, you know, that my report that I gave them was, you know, because I was intoxicated, which I wasn't, that it was invalid and I had to give another report, and they waited to tell me that till 8 months after it happened. They called me and told me that.
Unbelievable. Jeez. And so in the last couple years, have your belongings ever been stolen?
Yeah. Daily, like, yeah. It's bad. It's really bad. I couldn't even count, honestly. Usually it'll be something small, like on a daily basis, you know, someone will take like my jacket or like my shoes, or I've woken up to all my bags, my bike, everything being gone, even the blanket that I had on me was gone.
Jeez.
Like, yeah, that stuff is insane, dude. People are mean.
That's insane. And then when you do that, so where do you guys get clothes? Is there somebody that comes out and like gives you or helps you out with like?
Yeah.
How does that work?
There's especially in this area specifically, like under the bridge over there, by like the Garden Grove Inn and all right there. There's a decent amount of people, almost like every weekday. There's some sort of church group or like organization, nonprofit that will come by. At the very least, they'll give us like food, and on Thursdays, I believe they have or Fridays they have like a medical team that is over in the Walmart parking lot, the one on the other side of the bridge, the big Walmart, and that's very valuable, because a lot of the time people out here, like, we don't have the means or the insurance or whatever to be able to get medical care that we need, and that's cool, because we all really appreciate that one, because they help us with, like, and they're actual trained nurses and doctors.
Wow,
not doctors,
awesome.
but so, because a lot of the time we're out here, we're like, I don't know what that is, just can't go to the doctor, can't go to, nobody wants to go sit at the ER for 8 hours, so
Right.
a lot of times people neglect their health, but there are some places, a lot of the times it's just people stealing, as much as that's not a good thing. I've never been condoning theft or shoplifting of any kind, or stealing from your friends or people but we can't get jobs, whether it's ID or transportation, or we just look like bums sometimes, It makes it really difficult to get things legally.
As far as housing and stuff, have you run into CityNet?
Yes, I've had a few interactions with them. I've heard that, the whole shelters, and that if you get on the shelter, you get on the fast pass to the housing. However, the only way, all the times that I've talked to them, the shelter that is open to all of the population is full, and they have another shelter that's like Santa Ana, and it's Santa Ana residents only. You have to have some sort of evidence, tangible proof that you've lived in Santa Ana and had an address there. Otherwise, you have to like wave down a cop and like ask him if he can get you in there. And I don't know about most people out here, but I don't think most of us want to be waving down cops and talking to them, just with all the harassment alone. And all the times that I've tried to get into the general population one, they've been full, and it's a waiting list, and the waiting list for housing, I think, the wait time has gone up to like fucking a year and a half sometimes for some people. And like, I understand, like they said, there's not supposed to be homeless people past like 2025 or something. Like, I've heard so many different years, but it's tough, because there's a lot of us. There is, and it is definitely like it's not just like an issue that we could just like shrug our shoulders and be like, well, it's just gonna be there forever. Like, I hope that's not what this fucking world does, because I've met some people out here that are better human beings in their hearts and their personalities and their minds. Some that are more intelligent, more kind, and more caring than people I've met that own multi-million-dollar businesses. And it honestly breaks my heart that like some of these people have to be out here given the circumstance.
Yeah, hopefully they do something. So I heard that too, that the state, especially in LA, the new, I don't know who she is, she's getting everybody off the streets, that African-American woman.
Mm-hmm. I just seen, I saw it on the news actually a week ago, that they're just like showing up to like places they know that there's tents areas and stuff, and they're like just literally being like, look, you gotta go, we'll take you to a motel, help you with like whatever you need help with from there, housing, mental health, drug addiction and counseling, and like they tell them that like it's not like optional from what I could understand. And they went and they got him a hotel room, they pay for it entirely, and the only issue that there was with that I heard on the news was like this couple was in the Los Angeles Inn or something, and it was like they were just having trouble with like progressing from that hotel room, you know. They wanted permanent housing, and they had been promised permanent housing, and, you know, mental health counseling and all that. And some of those people have been there months and met with a mental health counselor once or not at all. And, you know, some people had been shown 1 or 2 apartments, but then when they said yes, because obviously you show any single one of us an apartment that's out here, I guarantee you it could be like the smallest little apartment, it could be this big, and you can't even put like all your bags down and still have room to sit, but like we would take it, you know, guaranteed. And they said that they were shown the place, immediately said yes, and that they were told that it wasn't available anymore. I really hope that program, you know, I also understand the volume of people that they're having to deal with, and the funds that they're working with is, you know, it's not economically possible to pull all people off the streets and give them all a place, you know. And I realize that, but you know, I hope it moves forward more, and I hope it reaches this county. Yeah, because that would be great. Yeah.
And then lastly, if you could have any kind of like a dream job or something you're qualified for, what would you want to do?
I've always loved, ever since I was a kid, I knew I wanted to help people. And, you know, I went through like, do I want to be a firefighter? No. Do I want to be like a doctor? No. Too much like blood and stuff. And, you know, I thought about like working in like a rehab or something. Obviously, like I'd have to be clean myself, but once I'm in a position that I could live as an example, I would love to fucking work with, you know, adolescents or young adults in like, you know, addiction treatment, or even this, like homeless outreach, like, just because I always have had a firm belief that, you know, unless you've been in that exact position as that person, and even then, you will never truly understand what that person's like emotions or their feelings or why they're acting the way they're acting. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but like if you can understand and grasp that, you won't be able to, you know, fully relate to them, then I think that alone empowers you to help them more or find them someone who can. And I've been through quite a lot of stuff for 21 years old, and you know, I'd like to help at least one person, you know, better their life.
And some people just want somebody to talk to, somebody to listen to them, somebody just to care.
Yeah. So, and I never have turned down someone who's asked me for any of those things. I would never fucking turn down someone. If I can help them, I will help them.
Nice, Kendra. Do you by chance have any social media information, like a Cash App or Facebook or someplace, some way somebody could reach out to you?
Yes. Let me check my phone because I forgot it.
What does your tattoo say?
Oh, I got ripped off in Vegas. The tattoo artist, like, we paid $200, and then halfway, he does the outlining, and then, like, 20 minutes later, someone calls me, gets on the phone, and comes back. He's like, hey, I gotta go. I'm having a family emergency. I'm like, well, can I get a refund? And he's like, no, we can't do refunds, but you can come in tomorrow. And I was like, I'm not living in Vegas. Yeah. I'm just here for right now. I can't come back tomorrow. And they were like, well,
wow, that's insane.
But it was supposed to be an ambigram, which is a word or a picture that reads a word one way, and then you flip it upside down and it reads another word. Oh. So this was supposed to say sinner, S-I-N-N-E-R. And then if you flip it around the other way, it's kind of awkward, but it says saint, S-A-I-N-T.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, yeah.
I always wanted that to be like my first tattoo, so.
Oh, okay. And what's that called? An anagram?
Ambigram.
Ambigram. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And
Well, we learned something new today, Bob.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I used to read the dictionary for fun. I've always loved words. I don't know why, I guess just for the sake of knowing them. One sec. Sorry. I need the freaking Wi-Fi to use the phone.
Okay, so we'll just wrap it up and then we'll get the information after.
Okay.
Okay, and then the last question is, are you okay if we use the interview on our YouTube channel?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, thank you, Kendra.
Of course. Thank you.